Yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? I hope you're right. You should be. What's that, Jim? Oh, it's Monday, November 25, all day, and I'm your host, James Clements. This is NBA Straya, but you can also see me on the panel, the official NBL Supercoach show, the AFL Today show, and of course, NFL Straya, which was the solo pod this week, but a chaos week of NFL, tell you. Anyway, here in Larry Armour Studios, sweating like a priest near a preschool. It is hot. Bloody humid, I'll tell you. Oh, it's like far north tropical Queensland, Jim. Yeah, I'll tell you what, yeah, not bad. Racist. Anyway, we're going to do weekend winners and losers. It's Monday. It's what we always do. Zion's cooked. We've got a Grant Williams injury that actually kind of sucks. The wheels are off for the Wolves, seemingly. Like, it's all going pear-shaped. So we've got lots to talk about. And we've got the game wraps. We'll wrap all the games from the weekend. We'll do That's Not a Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball, Dickhead of the Weekend, Magic Tweet of the Weekend as well. We've got some Yanaz, our Bob Print of the Day, and Outback Takehouse, where we're serving up a flame grilled turkey. We'll also have an Andrew Gaze Grey Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the field of history. In the field of excellence. What am I talking about? And a pick and preview for all the games tomorrow, which is actually like a lot. So that'll be fun. And just a lot going on at the moment. So I guess we should just get into it. I'll give you a quick, recap of the weekend when we get to the start of the show. So let's do it. Episode 1161 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
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 You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq Attack.
You better. That's right. You better, because if you're watching the YouTube, oh, look out. What's this up here? Hang on. Oh, this is a good ad for the YouTube, isn't it? You should go watch this. What's that? Oh, look out. That's right, direct from the US of A, Shaq-alicious XL gummies. Woo! Peach, berry, punch, and orange. Oh, God. I just got diabetes by looking at these bloody things. There's also a pack of the sour gummies up there too. And they're massive. I'm stoked. So old mate returned from the US of A to find the house not a burning wreck. Touch wood. We literally just had fire trucks out the side of the house putting off the recording of this old NBA Australia for about 15 minutes. Anyway, but she came back from her sojourn for a bit of work overseas, came back, me and the squids, they were still there. Nothing had gone wrong. Your mate Jim and solo dadded, actually for a week with, no untoward results. So that's good. And as a present, I got some Shaq-alicious XL gummies. I am so excited to try them. You have no idea. It's going to be a Shaq Attack on my colon. The Shaq Attack is going to be in my guts as I try to process. The Shaq Attack will be when I get the diabetes. The Shaq Attack will be my blood sugar spike. The Shaq Attack will be putting me in a fucking coma. Anyway, good times, great memories. It's nice to have old mate back, I'll tell you. The baby squid had a bit of a meltdown. He has he's 2, and he has these 15-minute meltdowns where it's just chaos. Like, it's on for young and old. He's banging on shit. He's banging his head on shit, which just sucks. Like, it's horrible. And it's like, buddy, don't, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, no, absolutely going completely troppo. And, anyway, so I'm like, oh, is it just because dads do? Like, it happened like once or twice while she was away. And then she caught one. So I'm like, oh, it's just not me. Not just me. It's all right. But anyway, success. She got away. She came back. It wasn't just a road test for her not coming back, which is good. I still just reckon it's a road test for her just getting rid of me, but that's all right. Anyway, good times. Shakalicious gummies. Let's do it. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here. Speaking of the big fellas with the daily whip around. Zion. Hey, he's not close, is he? Nah. Wait. Should we fire it up? Ring, 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 ring. Oh, dude! Oh, you're trying to tell me that Zion Williamson, the big rig, a bloke the size of this bloody house, who's done a bit of a hammy, and he's not going to be back soon? Oh, really? Fucking jeez. I'm a bit surprised by that. Yeah, really. Nice one. In other news, fork found in kitchen. In other news, I like beer. Anyway, the big rig's also apparently gotten, a little bit of treatment here and there on his left hammy, but he's not close to return to an action. That happened on November 6th. So it's like 3 weeks ago. And the entire thing was, they're like, look, 4 to 6 weeks. So they're like, yeah, he's not going to be 4 weeks. Really? Oh, I for one am shocked. Shocked, I told you. So they were like, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. You're like, that's mid-December. I'm like, he's not back till January. Like, that dude is... The amount of weight that goes on the soft tissue in his lower body. You're like, nah. Like, it's just... You're not going to risk it. It's the same with Joel Embiid. Speaking of which, Joel Embiid is out. So this happened the other day. Prior to their run of games... Well, they play at Brooklyn in the NBA Cup on Saturday morning. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll try to warm up and see how we go. And he's like, yeah, no, they ruled him out before the game started. And out for another game at least. And they're going to have a look at him again today. So, actually, no, tomorrow. Yes, their time. So, Monday, their time, which is tomorrow. So, Joel Embiid, speaking of big rigs and lower body issues, yeah, I don't know, you'd probably not risk that, right? Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I just reckon, and this is a bit of Outback Takehouse, he doesn't actually have an injury. He's just gone full fucking Charlie Day with the pin board trying to figure out who the fucking snitch is in that Sixers locker room so he can bash him. That dude hates that fucking snitch. I dug into that a little bit more, and as I said on Friday's show, it's very clearly Nick Nurse, and if it is, that's a shit show. Like, the Sixers clown car will continue like apace, and it's going to be hilarious. They did get absolutely fucking walloped by the Clippers today as well, so that was pretty funny. Anyway, Joel Embiid out for at least, what? Well, they're going to have another look. If he comes back, it's because he's rushing back and he's a fucking idiot. Just saying. Actual sad injury news, Grant Williams done for the season with an ACL. So he tore that against, what was it, the Wolves? No, Milwaukee, wasn't it? They played the Bucks on the weekend. That sucks for Grant. It's pretty good for his teammates. Don't say that out loud, Jim. I'm going to do what I want. It's my show. I think that might be the first time I've whispered on this show when I haven't done like the hand over the mouth thing. I'll tell you what. That sort of sucks for Charlotte. It sort of sucks for Grant Williams. Is it the worst thing for Charlotte, though? They've got like nobody left in that front court, though. I'm just saying. So Charlotte's injuries. We'll just get into bleed weekend winners and losers. We'll talk about Charlotte. Either way, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Anyway, that's about it. There wasn't a giant amount of other sort of news over the weekend. We talked about the All-Star Weekend stuff and the weird, excellent new approach to the format, which I already hate. And then, look, I sat with it for the weekend, and I'm like, look, the All-Star game should be just a game between the All-Stars. Now it's 4 games. But I now do realize that, like, the best, they play there's 4 teams, one of them is a fucking Rising Stars team. It's going to be a dog's breakfast. But that final will be gnarly because it's like 1st to 25 or some shit. Like, that's going to be off fucking chops. So, yeah, it'll be entertaining, but it's going to be fucking stupid. So, good times. Right, let's do some game wraps. Game wraps from the weekend. It was a long weekend. We did horribly on the Friday tips. Was I in too much of a rush? No, because I still bet all. So, as we're doing all of this year, we're betting $20 on every one of my tips. We're hitting at like 60%. We're doing great. And then we got absolutely obliterated on Saturday. We got 1 of 8. Oh, God. We did all right for the rest of the weekend with the head-to-heads, but Jesus. Yeah, Philly, this was nuts when they beat... So the one that I just mentioned, they beat Brooklyn. Oh, Joel Embiid, he didn't play. Yeah, it didn't matter because they just went, we're losing. Give it to Jared McCain and Maxey. They hit 8 straight shots between them. They were down with like 4.5 minutes to go, 90-89. They won it 113-98. Yeesh. That is an indictment on Brooklyn's defense, isn't it? Yes. Buried them. Pretty funny, though, in the end. And, like, if nothing else, I'm all about the fun. Let's get into the rest of the games. We had Boston eke out. It's weird to say eke out. They won, like, by 12 over Washington. They were 14.5-point favorites. And Washington actually kind of kept that close. And it was weird. And you're like, why are they not killing them? And you're sort of watching like, And I've got a couple of thoughts about Boston later on. Because this was tight. And it literally took till right at the end where they just went, wait, let's kick the shit out of him. Like it was literally like almost tied. It was like a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. And it was still like a 5-point game towards the end. And then they just went bang, 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 bang. Boston are weird. Just saying. Golden State, same thing against New Orleans. So this is the NBA Cup. This is good. So I think I went in on Friday saying, I came out of Friday's show having said, there you go. The NBA Cup games are wicked because it means you're going to go hammer and tongs from start to finish. Even the shit teams that were getting their heads kicked in kept sort of trying. Like Washington pushed Boston all the way. Even though they're basically Dunsky, they're 2-12. Like they're done in the NBA Cup as well. They're done as a dog's breakfast. And then the Pelicans almost upset the Golden State Warriors. They're 10.5-point underdogs and they lose 112-108. And it was a crazy, 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 crazy game. Fun game too. I was watching a bunch of this. I'm like, because you've got that awesome, like just crazy court there in the New Orleans Pelicans ones for the NBA Cup. And this is kind of the awesome thing on a Saturday for your NBA Cup gear. And this is why it should, I don't know why they're just finishing it, right? It should go through to like Boxing Day. It should go through like New Year's Day or something. Keep everybody invested and everybody up and about. Like, it's bizarre. They're like, we're only going to do it till, like, start of December. And you're like, why? And they're like, reasons. Because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know our ass from our elbow. We're the NBA, bro. I was like, all right. That's why you need Vice President of Common Fucking Sense Jim over here. Low 6 figures salary. That's all I need, Adam. Simple as that. Hook a brother up. But 112-108, they sort of eventually got by them. It took 30 from Andrew Wiggins, who's been playing fucking awesome lately, just saying, to get by them. And the Pelicans still sort of had nobody, but they kept it close the entire bloody game until, Golden State eked it out, and then sort of kept them at arm's length down the stretch. Chaos stuff, though. Very fun, and it meant that the Warriors win their group. Because, Dallas up against Denver, in the same day. But they had already beaten Dallas. So, there you go. At least Spindles Ingram was sort of back. They had Trey Murphy playing. Alfred Payton is still playing for this team, which is still funny. But they now have Jordan Hawkins, and they're like slowly getting one or two folks back. But yeesh, the Pelicans are horrible. Indy got smashed by Milwaukee. It's Algonquin for the good land. It is now, isn't it, Jim? Because they keep winning. 129-117. Atlanta got smashed and raided by Chicago. 136-122. Really good one for the Aussies. It was good to see Dyson Daniels go up against Josh Giddey. Enjoyed that immensely. They also then went and watched a hockey game together. Oh, it is funny because I hung out with both of them together at the footy this year, and then they're hanging out together with the ice hockey. At the ice hockey, I'm like, where's my invite? Where's your mate Jim? Come on, boys. Help a brother out. Anyway, Giddey was really good. One of his best games for a little bit, and they smashed him. And it's like one of these, causation, correlation. He had 18, 6, and 8. Smashed it. What else? We had Portland get absolutely steamrolled by Houston, 116-88. You had Dallas eke out an awesome win over the Denver Nuggets, 123-120. Insane in the membrane this game. Jokic came back. He's like, he scored at the will. Look at the awesome dad strength. Yes, he's very good. No Luka for the Mavs, obviously, but Najee Marshall just went ham and just didn't miss. Basically, he had 26. It was sweet. 19 for Kyrie Irving. Klay Thompson can't hit a shot suddenly, which is a bit weird, but that's the Klay that we all know and love from the last couple of years, isn't it? 22 and 13 for PJ Hamilton, Washington. Big win for Dallas, especially for their chances of getting out of the group stages and with a wild card into the NBA Cup. They blew a 24-point lead and still hung on to one. It was stupid. God, I hate Dallas. They're so dumb. But yeah, they just rode some PJ Hamilton, Washington. The Clippers beat their heads into the Kings as well. 104-88. They really Jay Leno'd them. They rolled Sacramento down a hill in Pittsburgh. Sunday, the Knicks absolutely just got obliterated by Utah. It was bizarre. I'm like watching this going, what the hell is going on here? And yeah, the Knicks, just a complete blip of like, oh yeah, road trip, bit over it. They couldn't score. It was like a lot of Lowry just shredding them. And yeah, Karl Anthony Towns couldn't hit anything. Jalen Brunson couldn't hit anything. And away you go. Basically, that's kind of like the margin for error for the Knicks. And you'll lose to the Yaz on the road if your two dudes just don't smash it. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, Orlando beat Detroit 111-100. Very, very fun game. Franz Wagner, it was an amazing game. Like, they came all the way back and smashed it. From a big, long road trip. 2 days later, Orlando still kicking ass. Memphis smashed Chicago. Chicago in a back-to-back. Memphis beat them 142-131. Scottie Pippen Jr., he's going to pop up again later. Portland beat Houston 104-98. Fred VanVleet cracked it with the refs and got booted. He talk about a dude who's going to get Jay Leno'd by Adam Silver. What happened to Fred VanVleet? Yeah, he rolled down a hill 17 times. Milwaukee beat Charlotte in a chaos game. LaMelo had 50. It didn't matter. Milwaukee, hold on, 125-119. San Antonio came flying back and beat Golden State 104-94 because Wemby went, oh, I have seen enough. I'm going to beat these losers. And then Denver beat the sans hell out of the Lakers like they were Jay Leno. Rolling down a hill. 127, 102. There was a 50-17 run in this game. Denver are absurd. The Lakers just, yeah, they played their bogey team and they got bogeyed. Monday, today, we had Boston hold on to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves came absolutely out of nowhere, down 10 late, and they just put on a little bit of a burst. Boston kind of tried their hardest to crap their pants, but they held on. Indy beat Washington 115-103 because Washington are bad. We also had Dallas lose in Miami, and no one was entirely sure how. They had this game in the bag. Kyrie then missed a free throw at the end, and Spencer Dinwiddie, who he hit one shot all night, and he'd taken 10, decided to take the last 2 3-pointers in regulation, goes to overtime. And Jimmy Butler hates Najee Marshall, and Jimmy Butler's like, check this out, I'm going to force overtime, and then I'm going to keep kicking your ass. They win at 123-118. Dallas, that was just, what are you doing? Clippers beat the Suns out. Oh, enough of the Jay Leno jokes, but Philly 99, Clippers 125. It was just brutal. In the James Harden Bowl. The James Harden Bowl is basically a toilet, or like at the strippers, like you've got like a bowl of nuts on the table and you're like, I do not want to touch those. That's the James Harden Bowl. Right there. Cleveland beat the hell out of Toronto 122-108. They didn't beat the hell out of them, though. They were. And then Toronto came flying back. And then Ty Jerome went, check this out, and started just hitting threes. And they got back up 15 and they cruised to the win. And then Brooklyn, somehow, without Dennis Schroeder, I am German Rondo, and despite Ben Simmons stinking it up, he had 5 assists in the first half and then none in the second quarter and the second half. It was just like, what is he doing out there? 108-103. They beat the Kings in Sacramento. That was really, really good. So, good win for Brooklyn. No one's entirely sure why. And that is a disaster for Sacramento. Like, they are going to pop up again in a second because, tell you what, if you want a weekend loser, oh, geez. Right there. All right, let's do some weekend winners and losers, though, shall we?
Oh, my God. I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is
me, Ken Brockman. We've got a shot of me. There we go. The weekend winners are Philly. Oh, but Jim, they got smashed by the Clippers, but they also got a win. Why is that important? Well, they're no longer like on the bottom of the entire NBA standings because they are currently 3-13. And the Wizards are 2-13. So if you're Philly, you're taking that as a win. You may have lost your MVP caliber center. You might have gotten then your heads kicked in by the Clippers and Jared McCain couldn't hit a shot. But you're not the worst team in the NBA at the moment. That's the Wizards. Good job, Philly. Miami, they're weekend winners because they're 7-7 and they just keep hanging around. Despite being, not good. Like, they're not good. How long are they? Miami just is so annoying. Dallas letting Miami off the hook. Sorry, Dallas letting Miami off the hook was so frustrating because, like, it's there. You've won the game. Just don't screw it up. And what did they do? They screwed it up. Jimmy Butler is like, I hate all you, especially Najee Marshall, and I'm not losing this game. He has that dunk with 4.3 seconds left to force overtime. They smash it in overtime. Bam's hitting threes. Miami, 7-7. And in the East, that means they're 5th. The East stinks. Miami might end up with bloody home court just like by default. Nah, they're not better than Orlando, the Knicks, or Boston or Cleveland, but still. God, Boston, weekend winners, but they've won 5 on the trot, Boston, right? They handled the Wiz, they handled the Wolves. They've won 5 straight. But they've been massive favourites in all of these games. Well, at least favourites in all of these games. And in their last 4, they've beaten the Raptors by 3. Yeesh. The Cavs by 3. The Wizards by only 12. And the Wolves, well, they're up 10. And they just have like these weird just glitches in the matrix where they lose. Like, the only problem they might have is just themselves just going, this is too easy. And they keep losing focus too easily. Like, that's where their losses have come from. Like that stupid loss to the Hawks in the NBA Cup. The loss to the Pacers like a few weeks ago. They've only lost 3 games. They're 14-3. So they deserve to be a bit like, we're fine. But sometimes, come on, just should be curb stomping teams. Memphis are weekend winners. They keep on winning. They stomp Chicago. They're 10-7 at the moment, the Grizzlies, which is awesome because they haven't had Ja for ages. And they go, look, I look at a team like Philly and go, you're 3-13. That is an indictment on your entire organization. Oh, we haven't had Paul George and Joel Embiid and stuff. It's like, don't care. Look at Memphis's entire, their roster to start with, and B, who they've not had for vast swathes of this entire NBA season. They haven't had Ja Morant, nascent superstar. They've had Triple J just sort of being that one constant, which is crazy. Desmond Bain has been in and out, and then when he's come back, he's had some horrible shooting nights. Like, their best player is Scottie Pippen Jr., who might be the best player in the NBA at this point. They curb stomp Chicago. Anyway, Memphis, they keep rolling. That is just, it's great coaching. It's great ethos, if that makes sense, right? And that's what I like. I think later this week, we're going to try to do the most fun teams so far. And like, basically the teams I like and the teams I don't like. Jim, isn't that just your power rankings? Yes, but shush. Memphis just play with such an excellent ethos. And there are teams like Philly, which have 0 ethos. And you can tell, right? And we'll get to another one that doesn't have any ethos. Cleveland are really good. Cleveland! 17-1. Yeah, not bad, not bad. The way that they're sort of taking care of business, that Toronto game had the opportunity to get a bit sideways on them and go a bit squirrely, and they just handled it. And they're sort of, talk about teams again with like sneaky injury problems. And like today, they had Isaac Okoro back, and you're like, this is good. So they're basically starting like their a nominal-ish kind of 5, and they still needed like Ty Jerome to go off his fucking block and score 26 points to get over the top of him, because Garland was like, he was shooting okay, ends up 6 of 14 for 16 points. Donnie was all right. Allen was all right. And then it's like nobody else did shit. George Niang went 1 of 13. He's going to pop up again later. Don't you worry about that. But yeesh. Ty Jerome saves the day. Good stuff. Cleveland rule. Cleveland rocks, you could almost say. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Spurs! They got Wemby back and they're cruising. That was a huge win over Golden State yesterday. Like a legit comeback win where they just went, let's not lose this one, boys. And then they smashed him. Wemby, he's going to pop up again in a second, one of the awards. Some of the stuff he was doing was absurd. And Chris Paul had like a bee in his bonnet. He had a couple of blocks despite being like shorter than squid number 2. Stephon Castle is a weapon. And I absolutely love that pairing of he and Wemby. Like, Stephon Castle, like, Jared McCain's going to get all the pub because he's on a big team like Philly. Stephon Castle should win Rookie of the Year. Like, Dalton Connect is, oh, look at Dalton Connect. I mean, gargling all these nuts and stuff. Stephon Castle is unreal. Just saying. Hear me now, fear me later. Orlando! Big win was it yesterday against Detroit? But the fact, like, I want to have them in the winners just because that came after a massive, massive, massive win over the Lakers, right? They play back-to-back games in LA, then fly all the way back to Orlando. That's West Coast to East Coast. It's a sucky flight. It just stinks. They play a game the next day as well. And they handle this stupidly annoying, frisky Detroit team. And Franz is out there looking like bloody Dirk Nowitzki. There's an incredible run of shots now where he's like doing the one-legged Dirk step back, and I'm like, yes, hook this to my veins. Another big German who's just going to go shoot some sick fall-away one-legged jumpers. Sign me up. This will be a new generation of Dirk lovers just going, how good is Franz Wagner? And everyone will be like, yes, amazing. I love it. Absolutely here for it. The Dirk Renaissance? Nowitzki-sance? Yeah, whatever. The Nowitzki Blitzy? I don't know. The Raptors had the Cavs game today, but look, if you're a Raptors fan, you're like, this is more like what a little bit of what I was expecting. RJ turned back into a Spud, but Scoob is back. They're putting up more of a fight, if that makes sense. Milwaukee, they started 2-8. Big win over the weekend. They're now 6-1. So their win yesterday against Charlotte was, there's an idea, like hard fought is a very good word. Your defense is not that great if you're giving up a 50-piece to LaMelo Ball. This is what happens when you play the Bucks. Their guard defense is horrible. But they won, and that's what's important. And they sort of did it in just like a grind them out, kick their ass, smash them sort of style. They've now won 4 on the trot. So they started 2-8, the Bucks. They were in Philly. They were in all sorts of like Philly-esque trouble. They've now gone 6-1. That's 4 straight. So they're all right. Charlotte! But Jim, they lost to the Bucks. You just said it. Yep. Look, but they lost Grant Williams as well. But now stoked the rest of that bench is. They don't have to listen to Grant Williams' just constant bullshit for at least a week or two while he sort of goes under the knife and probably doesn't have to be at the games for a little bit. Like, losing Grant Williams probably makes them worse as a basketball team, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just rip off some wins because they're like, I'm just so sick of that dude. Like, have you got somebody at work who's just like always just on? And you're like, dude, just fucking lay off, would you? Can you bring it down like 8 notches? Just 8 of them. Like, it's just too fucking much, man. Yeah, that's Grant Williams. So Charlotte, just keep an eye out. They've got nobody in that rotation, as I mentioned. But, I mean, they're already starting like basically what, Moussa Diabate, Moose. And they lose Grant Williams now. So it's like they're going to be maybe having to start like Taj Gibson and shit like that. You're like, oh, God. And I just don't know when their sort of big man reinforcements sort of come back. But yeesh, it stinks. Because they've still got Nick Richards and Mark Williams and co. on the injured list. And without Miles Bridges out there, it's really hard to sort of play that big guard wing lineup that they could just go, fuck it, we're playing LaMelo, Greeny, Miller, Bridges, and stuff together. and Cody Martin. And we'll see what happens, right? But it's a bit tough. Anyway, it's a tough one for Charlotte. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if they still rip off a couple of wins. Indy, they desperately needed to play Washington. They're 7-10 now. But basically, they're winners because those jerseys that they're wearing, those City Edition ones, look sick. I love those Indy ones. Like, it makes TJ McConnell look fat. Like he's Jake Stringer trying on the GWS jersey. Which looks like me pulling on a GWS jersey. It's like, oh, look out. He's going to do some damage. It's like, what? To some fucking tins? To the fucking hotel buffet? Like, what are we doing? Oh, he's here to make an impact. Yeah, on the local BWS. And then finally, the Clippers. They're good. They're winners because they're good. They've ripped off 5 straight wins. They kicked off, like, they beat the shit out of the Kings and the Sixers in just imperious fashion. They beat, the 5 straight wins. They beat the Magic. They shit pumped the Kings and the Sixers. Like, it's weird because they lost their first 4 at home at Intuit. You know, the crazy new fucking stadium for the Clippers. They've now won 7 in a row there. And also, Norm Powell's going to win the MVP. Like, it's just... I fucking hate that people are like, Norm Powell's going to win most improved. He's 31. No, he's not. He fucking shouldn't. Anyway, good stuff there. The West at the moment is like absolute chaos. The Clippers are like the only team on like a half-decent winning streak. They've won 5. The Spurs have now won 3 on the trot as well. But because like with the Warriors losing the other day, the Thunder sort of like having that weird blip, the Rockets getting a little bit wobbly here and there, everything is up for grabs in the West. Absolutely everything. And I'm going to talk about some of those losers right now in Weekend Losers. Oh, good segue, Jim. Yeah, thanks.
We're not losers. No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up.
Losers.
Loser.
Loser. Losers. Losers. Ben Simmons. I don't want to dump on him. Just, how do you airball a layup? I mean, he airballed a floater later. But how do you throw the ball at the backboard, attempting a layup, and miss the rim? Like, I don't even know how you do it. So if you saw the video that we posted, it makes... I just don't know. Like, it's just, it's horrible. There's no other way to put it.
This is horrible. There's no other way to put it.
Like, everybody watching was like, what the hell was that?
What was that? What the hell was that?
And every Australian was like, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I don't know how much more of this I can take. And for him to do it in Philly, you're just like, oh no. Here we go. And I was like excited about the Ben Simmons game today against the Sacramento Kings because sneakily, they're not that great in defense. Obviously, it's not that sneaky. But in terms of point guard defense, they allow a lot in terms of like the assists and stuff. And it turns out it was Cam Thomas who tore him apart. And Simo had a good first half. You're like, well, look out. This could be the nice sort of bounce back that Ben needs. And then it all sort of just stagnated and he was running around like a fucking chook with its head cut off out there for most of that second half. They won the game though, because they're just like, yeah, we can't really play him down the stretch. We're just going to play these weird janky lineups. And the Nets, that was a big win. So they should have been a weekend winners. They win the 7-10. They moved to 7-10, which in the East might get you fucking home court at this point. But Cam Thomas goes absolutely spare. And the Kings sort of can't stop anybody. And Simo is just sort of like, yeah, I'm doing stuff. And you're like, oh, this is not great. Hey, speaking of losers, Sacramento. That was a brutal back-to-back loss over the weekend. So they're 8-9. And this was a mostly full strength Sacramento. They don't have Malik Monk, but like your 6-man scorer shouldn't mean that you're 8-9. I know that the West is tough, but the Kings were like, they've now lost 4 of their last 5 and 3 straight. And they just look horrible. They look so bad they looked underprepared and ill-equipped to sort of figure out what the hell Brooklyn were doing. And Brooklyn are a weird team like that because they're super janky. Like, they're just a weird team. But Sacramento, what are you doing? Dallas! Weekend losers. But Jim, they beat the Nuggets in an awesome game. It was an awesome game, and then they completely shit down their leg and blew an amazing chance to beat the Heat on the road. What are you doing, Mavs? Like, every time you can snag any sort of win when you don't have Luka Doncic on your team, you can't fuck that up. In the West, you can't fuck that sort of stuff up. That's like an L that should have been a W. And in the back half of the season, considering that now you're 9-8, you could have been Math Magician, 10-7, but you fucked it. Dallas, what are you doing? Because 9-8 has them currently in the 9 seed. You fucked. Spencer Dinwiddie, cut him. He's just... I'll rephrase that. I've seen Spencer Dinwiddie do this before. It's like, hey, everybody, I'm the best player in this team. It's like, Spencer, you're 1 of 10. Please don't take the game-winning shot. He's like, fuck you. Check this out. And you're like, oh, God. We've got fucking Kyrie Irving on this team. His teammates must be saying. And he's like, nah. It's Spencer Dinwiddie time. Everyone else is like, we've got fucking Kyrie and Clay on this team. What are you doing? He's like, nah. Trust me. It's Spencer Dinwiddie time. Clank. You're like, yeah, not great. Not great. Pretty funny. If it didn't cost you a win. Anyway, the Wolves. They look all out of sorts and they just kind of suck. Like it's a bit weird and a bit sad. The way that they went like at Boston late, you're like, that's a bit more like it. But it's like, where the fuck was this the rest of the goddamn game? They just look slow, discombobulated, and super janky. And Ant-Man, he's lacing threes, but he's seemingly not hitting any other shot. Like, it's weird. All of his twos today, you're like, what is going on here? Anyway, the Wolves, they're out of the play-in at the moment. They're 8-8 and just kind of stink. They've lost 2 on the trot again. Anyway, the Lakers, they lose their weekend losers. They're 10-6. They've lost their last 2 because they lose to the Magic Man, then got worked again, just fucking worked like a goddamn nice Jay Leno if you're the Italian mob. Nah, getting worked like you're a big fucking side of beef and they're Rocky. Dun, 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 boom, boom. After the missed free throws against Orlando and then getting your ass kicked by Russell Westbrook, that is a fucking kick in the dick for the Lakers. They need Bronny back ASAP. Anthony Davis is a weekend loser. I bet Jimmy might win the MVP. Yep, and he's also 2-14 against Nikola Jokic in their last 16 matchups. 2-14! That's amazing. Yeah, not great. The Warriors. I was so angry at them for blowing that game against the Spurs, but then I was so delighted because I was watching Wemby just do shit that you're like, what the fuck was that? The double block possession, you're like, he's going to do that so many more times, but that was just absurd. The Suns, but Jim, when did the Suns play on the weekend? It's like, oh, well, the other day. They lost to the Knicks. So they didn't play this weekend. And I'm still looking at this going, how are they still losers? And then I'm like, hang on a second, they've lost 5 straight. They're 9-7. They're in the 8th spot. They're 1-5 since they started 8-2. And I'm like, oh, God. And then finally the Pelicans. Basically, these are injury weekend losers from, like, injuries. And, like, the Pelicans, with no Zion, just, it was good to see them finally put up a bit of a fight. And you wonder if, like, the Pelicans are finally going to turn that corner of, we've got a couple of dudes back. And very similar to how Orlando were like, all right, we didn't have Balabancaro, and they lost a bunch of games. Maybe there's hope on the horizon for the Pelicans, but, oh, geez, I tell you what, it's not very good. All right, let's do an NBA Straya Pro performance of the weekend.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
That is LaMelo Ball rips off the 50-point, 5-rebound, 10-assist game in the loss to the Bucks. He shot 17 of 33, 6 of 17 from 3 as well. Not bad. And also I think became the 3rd youngest player in NBA history to have a 50-point, 10-assist game. Oh, not bad. Good size. Didn't mind that. He's been really, really good. Apart from just some of these disastrous turnovers, but also his coach, Charles Lee, is sort of slowly every so often just kicking his head in and just like telling me to pull his head in, which is good. Outside of that, how about a bit of Jimmy Butler versus Najee Marshall / the Mavs? Boy, does Jimmy Butler hate Najee Marshall. 33 points, 11 of 17 shooting, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks. The game-saving, overtime-forcing dunk. Jimmy Butler hitting bloody twirly throw-in layups like Michael Jordan, his dad. No, come on. Amazing gear. Jimmy Butler crushed it. We actually called this one out on Friday's show as well. It's like, yeah, Jimmy Butler is going to absolutely tear up that Mavs team. He hates Najee Marshall. Look what happened. But then a couple of the other ones. I love these two. Nikola Jokic, hello, against Anthony Davis. Ended up with 34, 13, and 8. He shot 60, 43, 88%. He was a plus 38 in that game was Nikola Jokic. He also did a sick volleyball spike that nearly went fucking in full court. It was absurd. It went 77.6 feet. It's the 5th longest field goal attempt in the NBA this year. It was like 0.3 of a second on the bloody clock, so he just fucking hit the ball off the inbounds. It was awesome. It didn't go in, but it came bloody close. He's got that new drug strength. And also, I think on top of that, he just absolutely obliterated Anthony Davis in that game. AD had 14, 10, and 3. Couldn't hit anything. and finished with minus 26. Not bad. But Franz Wagner, hello. The other game was the one that I enjoyed a lot. 39-8 against the Detroit Basketball Pistons. Shot 11 of 22 from the floor, 4 of 9 from 3. And this is the thing. Franz Wagner, hello. As I sort of said, and this is why I had Orlando in the weekend winners and losers. But being able to force feed Franz all this time without Paolo is immeasurably cool for this Orlando team. Because you look at Boston, right? And you go, cool. How did Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just get fucking good? They just played shit tons. They played shit tons. They had a lot of responsibility on them. And they both had to figure out how their games worked. And like giving Franz a little bit of clear air without Paolo, who BT fucking dubs had a 50-point game already this season. Franz has just been able to go, right, if I'm the dude, what do I have to do? How do I approach this? If everything's sort of revolving around me, can I do it? And he's been able to. And that Detroit game, the 30-point, 9 rebound, 8 assist game, as I said, it came after a long fucking road trip. And this is the thing about stars in the NBA. If you can do that on a night where it's just like, I'm just goosed. Fuck, I just want to go to bed. If you can still drop 39-8 and get a win, that's massive. So yeah, very much enjoyed that game. Flip side, how about Spud of the night? Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night. Spud of the night. We had plenty of Spuds today, didn't we? We had over the weekend, we had Klay Thompson going 0 of 8. That was pretty funny against Denver, and they still managed to win that game. Tari Eason went 0 of 7 the other day as well. Delano Banton went 0 of 6. We had 0 of 5 for a bunch of people. 0 of 5 is a bit of a tough one. You just missed 5 shots. 0 of 8 is just special. What up? Andre Jackson, Antonio Reeves, Bub Carrington, Quentin Jackson all went a bit of the old 0 of 5. But Eric Gordon went 1 of 9. Caleb Martin went 1 of 8. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh, geez, I don't know why the Sixers keep losing. Because all their vets are playing like dog shit. Like, how is Jared McCain the best player on a team that has fucking Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey on it? It's absurd. And I love it because he's awesome. George Niang, the minivan, the G-Wagon. We figured out his name. Not the G-Spot, Jim. There you go. Yeah, we can't find that. 1 of 13 for George Niang, friend of the program, and 0 of 8 from downtown. Spencer Dinwiddie, though, an absolutely horror show of a game today. 0 of 9 from downtown, 1 of 12 overall. He was abysmal. Chris Dunn gave us 2 of 11. We had Mikal Bridges, hello. Jared McCain today, go 3 of 15. Dyson Daniels, our beloved Dyson Daniels, and Jalen Green, not our beloved Jalen Green, 3 of 14 for him. Jamal Murray went 4 of 16. Yes, that's not very good, is it, Jim? No, it's not. It's not really good at all. And then, out of all of this, though, for an entire weekend of lots and lots of games, we only had one bloke who went and shot the magic number. That's right. Thank you, Corey Kispert, for going and shooting. Woo! Chill. Yeah, he went and shot 311. They're here next week. You excited? I bloody well am. Good stuff. Corey Kispert on 3, shot 311. Righto, let's do some old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Russell Westbrook in LA. Oh, he's from LA, Jim. Now he's played for both teams, and the fans there hate him, and he's now on the Nuggets. So, you know, he's talking a bit of, like, he's a bit of shit being talked. He's just blowing kisses back to the thing. That was pretty good. I thought that was nice. Bit of old mate, no mates today. Russell, it's like, he tried. You know, he tried it with the Clippers. He tried it with the Lakers. You went, fuck it. I'm going to the Nuggets. There you go. Other old mate, no mates. Fred VanVleet of the Fighting Van Vliets. He was out there trying to fight the refs on the weekend. This is going to pop up in a second, but yeah, he's definitely going to be old mate, no mates in a second when Adam Silver's done with him. And my favorite, though, from the weekend of the old mate, no mates is your fucking mate, Rudy Gobert. This David Tower has a massive sook the other day in that just disastrous loss for the Wolves. They're all disastrous. Where he's like got deep post position, calling for the ball. Julius Randle just goes, nah, dickhead, fucking, what am I going to do? Pass it to you. And Rudy gets a 3-second violation because just fucking dawdles out of the paint. And they throw it to him later on and just nothing happens. They script the first game play of the game today against Boston for him. So he gets the first play of the game scripted for him as a deep post against Tatum. He's there calling for the ball. They give it to him, and he bobbles it out to the three-point line and turns it over. Everybody in the Wolves is going to be like, fucking see? That's why we don't pass you the ball, you French fuck. Jesus. Like, they would be, Ant-Man would just like punch him in the back of the head as he's walking past. Go, fucking bang! Catch the fucking ball, idiot. Like, yeah. So it's a bit of a tough bus ride. It's like, shall we throw you the ball some more, shall we, Rudy? Or will you turn the fucking ball over again? Yeah, tough scenes there. Pantsing of the night. All Wemby edition. He nailed a three, then smoked a Lindy Waters the third layup, just fucking deleted it. But the best was his double block possession against the Warriors, where he had a just a blockathon. He's like, you get the block, and you get the block. Blocked the shit out of Moody, and then turned around and like deleted a Trace Jackson Davis shot as well. It was awesome. Go check it out. Wemby, just deleting shots. Very nice. Who was better than Bronny James?
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Jared McCain had 30 points on Saturday. That was awesome. 6-11 from deep, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a weapon. Love him. Donovan Clingan dropped a 0.19 rebound, 3 block game the other day. That's, I think, the 14th game in NBA history where a player's had 19 plus rebounds and didn't score. 7 of them belong to Dennis Rodman, which is awesome. I love that. But my favorite is, and Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to pop up again later, 30 points, 10 assists, 2 rebounds, 13 of 16 shooting against the Chicago Bulls, and shredded in the place where his old man used to play. Scottie Pippen, better than Bronny James. All right, now let's do a bit of everyone's favorite. Oh, yes. A bit of the old magic tweet of the weekend, I guess. I just wish that we'd get more actual sort of fun basketball tweets from him, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I ran into the Arnaud brothers at the airport today, Frederic, Alexandra, and Jean. If you didn't know, their family owns LVMH, which is the world's largest luxury goods conglomerate with brands like Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, Tiffany & Co., and Sephora, to name a few. They also have Hennessy under their portfolio in the wine and spirits world. One of the first yachts Cookie and I rented was their Amadeus. It was great catching up with them today. What do we say? Thanks, Magic. Oh, God, that's good. Here are the 3 richest motherfuckers you've never heard of, and I hung out with them. Also, I once rented their yacht. He's the best. That's amazing. Finally, Dickhead of the Weekend. Dickhead of the Week. And this one is Fred VanVleet of the Fighting Van Vliets. Yes. He's going to get Jay Leno'd by Adam Silver. Basically screaming at the refs, you suck, you suck, you suck, you're a fucking bitch, you're a bitch. Like just screaming at the refs at the end of that game. It was funny, but wow, is he going to get suspended? That's like, I'm all for like having a crack at the refs and just like when they do a shit. Like, but Fred VanVleet also just fucking flat out poleaxed the dude and had the offensive foul called on him. It's like, yeah, Fred, like you did it. Like, I guess that the refs are a bit shit and a lot of shitness went on throughout the game, but that was a bit of an overreaction. So enjoy that. Fine. Jesus. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right. Let's do it. Yeah, nah, Zachy Boo. Yeah, nah, Brunson giving a kiss to the crowd after making a 3. Started 0 of 6 from 3 on the night. Yeah, nah, yeah, it's a bit of a rough one. The Knicks I love the swagger. But the thing that I said about Orlando, like going on a big road trip and then just sort of coming home and still kicking the crap out of a team that you should beat. The Knicks going on the road and like having some good wins and then just like shitting the bed against Utah. You're like, dude, this is why it's so hard to trust you, man. Like they just fucking obliterated the Suns. They were so good in that game. And then they let Larry Markkinen score 34 and Colin Sexton just dumped on their heads. And Bronson's like, check this out. It was a bit of a weird one. Bit disappointing, I guess. I also love, like, Jesse B. He sent in a good one. Keep an eye on Jokic's three-point percentage. I have this feeling he's going to stay over 50% all season, which is fucked up. Yeah, I mean, I think it is incredible that he is over 50% already with his amazing fucking, like, weird-looking shot. Like, Jokic is averaging 30.3 points a game, second in the NBA. 13.9 points, which is first in the NBA, and 11.3 assists, which is second in the NBA. It's just fucking absurd. But he's also shooting 56.3% from three. Ben Simmons has just punched a wall somewhere. He's shooting 4 threes a game, on average, right? And so 27 to 48. And I think the key to that is he's not shooting a giant amount. Like 4 threes a game he's launching. And he's hitting over 2 of them, basically. That's the fucking key. Don't take so many threes. And when you do, just fucking hit them. So his last 5 games, he's gone 3 of 7, 2 of 2, 3 of 3, 1 of 1, 1 of 3, right? That all balances out pretty bloody nicely. And he's also just ripped off 4 straight games where he's scored over 30 points. And he had 3 straight 30-point plus triple doubles leading into the game against the Lakers yesterday. Yeah, it's absurd. And he could do it all season because when you only shoot 4 a game, like, yeah, if you can hit 1 or 2, you're laughing. And then you have those random games where you go 3 of 3 or something, and it's going to keep your fucking average up there nicely. Anyway, I sort of hit on this the other day. We're going to do some awards because we're going to hit the quarter point of the season very soon. But Rookie of the Year. Is Jared McCain really going to win Rookie of the Year, Jim? Yeah, nah. I mean, I don't think so. Because at some point, Jared McCain will have, presumably, a full-ish Philadelphia team to deal with. Now, we don't know what's going on with fucking your man Paul George's leg. But, like, they're starting Maxi Oubre and McCain at the moment with Yabu and Caleb Martin. Like, it's a horror show for Philly, right? No wonder they were getting booed. At some point, though, you figure, like, if Paul George comes back and Bede is back, and you've got Big Boo to Kyle Lowry at some point, maybe coming in off the bench, maybe McCain's minutes get squeezed a little bit. But I kind of think Stephon Castle is just going to make this fucking run. Like, he just looks awesome. The dude is just exactly everything you want in a point guard, or a guard at least, next to Wemby. He is just bloody crushing. Because Reed Shepherd is like, talk about minute squeezes. They've got too many dudes in Houston. He barely fucking sees the court. Like Risa Shea and Alexander Sarr are still very, very, very raw. Dalton Connect is going to get all the publicity, but it should be Stephon Castle. Just saying. And then finally, kind of a bit of the unpopular opinion of the day as well. So we'll just double up.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
So I posted that Ben Simmons video the other day, and it's like, yep, everyone is like very, very similar to like my entire vibe of like, what the fuck, man? Like at some point, you're just going to go something wrong mentally when you miss a shot that badly almost. Like, it's just a shot. I get it. But at the same time, there's got to be some fucking weirdness going on. At some point, you're going to go, let's have a sit down. And there was like one comment, this is just unfair. Do you kick a dog while he's down? It's like, well, he's not a dog. He's getting paid $40 million a year to play basketball. And yeah, he's like, he's recovering from an injury. It's like fucking 18 games into the season. Like, we're a quarter of the way through the year at some point. There you go. Brooklyn have played 17 games now. He's still only playing 27 minutes a game. And he's averaging 5.4 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. Right? And as I've sort of had the talked about, we've got the turnovers, the field goal attempted, and the foul tracker for Ben Simmons. He still has more fouls than made field goals, and he has more turnovers than made field goals as well. So they are getting a little bit closer, though, because he had the 5 of 8 game the other day against Charlotte when he had the first double-digit scoring night of his season. So we'll see what happens, but yeah. Anyway, it's not exactly kicking a dog while he's down. It's the sheer seeming inability to better his game when you have all the fucking physical tools in the world to be an awesome basketball player and to be like, nah, nothing's wrong. I'm just fucking, no one gets me. It's all good. It's clearly fucking not. And if you're missing shots like that, guess what? You're going to get dumped on. That's how it goes. So anyway, just saying. Bit of Outback Takehouse for you. Well, to be honest, we could also throw in my boss. The boss threw in one. It's like, he's just not even Australian to me anymore. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, nah. If he wanted to play for Australia, it'd be funny. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's do a bit of Outback Takehouse. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah. Took the squids to daycare and school today in the bloody car. So you know what that means? Cricket bats out the side windows. Brap, 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 brap. Taking down Maggies as we go down the street. Easy as you like. Try to swoop me. I'll take care of you. Don't you worry about that. Magpie wings. That's right. They're like chicken wings, but just a little bit stringier. And they're only at Outback. Try it with the lemon pepper. Only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is trade Joel Embiid and build around Jared McCain. Only at Outback. Look, this is the thing. I wanted to hit on the Sixers one more time because I'm sick of talking about it. But look, the Sixers are not so secretly screwed with Embiid, right? Like his knee is sort of blown up again. It's obviously a bit fucked. They're probably up against the wall with it's essentially you just got to fucking sit him down for another month. And they're not going to be able to because they're too far behind the 8 ball in the standings. And they also can't trade him to any, like nobody will want Joel Embiid with a fucked knee and that giant astronomical extension they signed him to. Like Charlotte, where we're like, we've got Nick Williams and like, we're fine. Like we don't want to deal with that. The best trade situation would probably be the funniest one where you trade him for Ben Simmons. And like, that would be the funniest fucking thing in the world. Just saying. But the Sixers, if this is like an ongoing thing, they are fucked. Because like as good as McCain has been, as good as Maxey is, and they've hit on those 2 draft picks in incredible fashion. Like when McCain at 16 and Maxey like 27 or whatever. Was he 27? 24. One of the two. I think he was... There we go. Let's have a look. 21st, yeah. I was close-ish. No, you weren't, Jim. But it's sort of also not being able to, like, lift them up. It's bizarre. They're fucked. It's crazy. All right, let's take a quick break. Be back with Australian Player Watch right after we hear from Hammer.
This is Shane Heel, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with Ben Simmons right there. The 2 games of the weekend, he had 2 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block to go with 2 turnovers in that loss to Philly. Also missed that shot horribly. 1 of 4 shooting from the floor. But then against Sacramento today in the big win, he had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. 2 fouls and 2 turnovers. Shot 2 of 3 from the floor, though. So that's good. Happy days. Rock 'em, sock 'em, block 'em, jock 'em, Landau. Got out there in both the games against Portland, a win and a loss for the Rockets. He had 2 points, 1 rebound, and 1 block in the first game. In only 7 minutes, not bad. Went 1-1 from the floor. In the second game, he played 12 minutes, and he went 0-1 from the floor. It was a 3. He missed it, but he had 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 more block. Not bloody bad. You'll love to see a bit of that. And sticking with, I guess, a bit of the old Houston Rockets, how about a bit of Jack McVay? He got out there against Portland, went 1 of 2 from 3. There were all the shots he took, and he had 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist on Saturday. You love that from the Unabomber. Very nice. Patty Mills has not played for a couple of weeks. So a lot of did not play coaches' decisions, but that's fine. I'm not angry at all. Dyson Daniels. Very nice game against the Chicago Bulls where he had 4 steals. Unfortunately, couldn't shoot very well in that one. 3 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown. So at least the threes were dropping. It was everything else. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists to go with those 4 steals. Not bad. Good size. In that same game, Josh Giddey had one of his better games of the season. He had the 18, 6, and 8 with 2 blocks. So he's only topped that like once, I think, in terms of the scoring. Yeah, he had a 20-point game earlier in the year. So 18, 6, and 8 with 2 blocks, 3 fouls. He shot 8 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 3 from downtown, 1 of 1 at the line. Very nice from Gids. And then the 12, 7, and 8 with 2 more blocks in 5 of 10 shooting against Memphis. He went 2 of 4 from 3 in that one. So that's not bad. Love to see him hitting some threes. Very good. How about Josh Green? Well, he played against the Buckaroos on the weekend. He had 11 points and 5 rebounds. The shot is dropping a little bit more. He's gone 3 of 5 from downtown in that one. He went 4 of 10 from the floor overall. But in his last couple of games, he's gone 3 of 5 from 3, 3 of 3, roof of 3, 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and 3 of 4. That's pretty bloody good. I'm no math magician, but if you're going to shoot 12 of 16, it's not bad. Not bad at all. What about Johnny Furphy? He was copping a bit of a talking to today as well. I don't know if you saw that one in the Indy game. But I still love me a bit of Froths. Look at him go. So against Washington today, he played 11 minutes. He had 5 points and 1 assist. He hit 1 3. He only attempted 1 shot and he hit it. And then on Saturday against the Bucks, he played 14 minutes. He had 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists along with a steal as well. Again, hit a 3. So he's hit both of his last 2 threes across the last 2 games. Let's bloody go, Tins. I'm here for it. Tins, mate. Tins. How about the Blazers duo of do-up, bop, do-up? They played twice against the fellow Aussies of Houston. Do-up got in there for 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 fouls in 12 minutes in the first game. Shot 1 of 3 from the floor, 0 of 2 from downtown. Then 5 minutes without taking a shot with a rebound and a block. And obviously, Aussie Matty T is still dealing with his actual sort of, knee injury, but he's all right. Hopefully be back soon. Who else are we missing? Alex Dukas was OKC gear on the weekend, but didn't get out there. He did get out there for that 1 minute against the Spurs last week, but that was it. And I feel like I'm missing some. Oh, Jingling Joe Ingles. How'd he go? Did he get out there today? Didn't see him. I do love that his last game might have been, when he came in for that inbound pass for the win against the Suns. That's amazing, isn't it? Right. No one else we're missing. No, that was... Oh, Travers got out there as well today for a minute run around, which is really good to see for the Cavs at the very end of that Toronto game. So the flying doormat causing a little bit of havoc. Enjoyed that. Ran around for a minute. Was a +2. Good job, Luke Travers. Just check to see if he got out there in the other game. No. Yeah, the 4 points towards the end of last week. So good job, Luke Travers. All right, there's Australian Player Watch for Monday, November 25. Let's do an Andrew Gay's Great Mamba Award for outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. Andrew Gay's Great Mamba. Love you, Sam. Andrew Gay's Great Mamba. Let's do it. Outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. That's right. Mike Malone became the winningest coach. I love winningest. The most winning coach in Nuggets franchise history when he beat the Lakers, which is pretty fitting because there's nothing that Denver teams love than beating up on the Lakers. Michael Malone now has 433 total wins as Nuggets coach, beating out Doug Moe and George Karl, which is pretty cool. But my other one for the weekend for a bit of outstanding achievement in the field of excellence, Scottie Pippen Jr. As I mentioned last week, there are 3 duos of father-sons who have had triple-doubles, which is very cool. Not LeBron James and Bronny James, but Scottie Pippen and Scottie Pippen Jr. There is also Dolph and Danny Shays and Winston and Darius Garland, which is pretty cool. But Scottie Pippen Jr. was the first player at the United Center to have 30-plus points on 80-plus% shooting, as well as 10 assists and 3+ threes. Or I don't know if it had the threes, actually. First person to do it at the United Center since a bloke named Scottie Pippen. How cool is that? Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's pretty fun. It was like just a nice little moment. We were like, oh, just like his dad. And it's to a point where it's like, yeah, his dad was the last bloke who did that. So I think it was 26 plus points, 8 plus assists, 85 plus like field goal percentage, and like, yeah, Scotty did that too. So very nice. Back in 1995 at the United Center. What a legend. All right, what do we got next? Let's do a bit of game day ball. Patty Mills game day ball, game day Twitter check-in. I reckon that's a good plan. Once I find my phone, there you go. Let's go. All right, let's go. Patty Mills. Oh, there's a Josh Giddey update. Oh, there's him getting interviewed. Oh, actually, yeah, the Patty Mills game day ball or game day update can be all the pictures of Josh Giddey and Dyson Daniels hanging out together at the ice hockey, posted by the Bulls and the Hawks. They're just mates. I loved it. I'm like, this is great. Just dudes being guys. Just bros being blokes. Just mates being dudes. Just guys being dudes. Just hanging out. Blokes being mates. Very nice. Right, let's do some game previews. Game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How did you go on the weekend? Good weekend. The picks were horrible on Saturday, but we sort of pulled it back together on Sunday and today. But otherwise, it was just nice to get old mate home, and I don't know, the squids were excited to see their mum. I reckon the baby didn't even realise she was gone. He's like, oh yeah, I know her. It's pretty good. But so on the weekend, yeah, we went 1 of 8 on the Saturday. Then across Sunday and Monday, I reckon we've gone full blown 50% across all of those games. Because today we went 4 of 6, and then yesterday we went 3 of 7, so that's pretty close. So overall, we're at 60.4% for the season, which is pretty good. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, we have an 8-game slate for a Tuesday. Orlando at Charlotte, which is a little bit tricky. So I've mentioned that Orlando on the road aren't that good. It's one of those things where those LA games are always going to be a little bit wonky for them. And the fact that they even beat the, annoying Lakers there. They're now 3-7 on the road, which is pretty good. 8-0 at home, though, which is why Orlando is so great. Charlotte, flip side, like they stink on the road. They're 1-7. And at home, they're 5-3. So it's a little bit tricky, but Orlando have looked really, really, really good. Charlotte, I think just, however, with the sort of injury toll mounting, Orlando should probably have a little bit too much size just to get over them. But Charlotte are also just going, screw it. LaMelo, Brandon Miller, go at it. I think Orlando might just have a little bit too much from those. So give me Orlando minus 4.5 in Charlotte. Detroit, they host Toronto in the Dwayne Casey Bowl. But no longer in charge of Detroit is Dwayne Casey. They are 5.5 point favorites against the team that played today. I am going to take I'm going to say Detroit because I like them. They're 5.5 point favorites. I love this Detroit team. They just play so hard and they're so screwy. What I am tempted, though, is like Toronto might still put up a fight and keep that close. Because Detroit don't do anything easy. It's a 5.5 point line. The Raptors are out there with Scoob, Pirtle, Barrett, Grady Dick, Okchai, Baji. Maybe, just maybe. Because if you look at Detroit's run of results, they lost by 11 the other day to the Magic Men. They lost by 2 in that stupid, crazy Hornets game. They lost by 10 in the Bulls. So they've lost 3 on the trot. I think they bounce back and get a win. I've got a feeling Toronto will make that pretty tight. But at home, let's just go Detroit. Minus 5.5. They should hold off a raggedy Toronto team. Indy also hosts New Orleans. This is just an annoying Indy team. And I think I said the other day, I don't want to ever pick Indy again. They took care of Washington today. The Pelicans fought pretty tightly against the Warriors the other day. Indy should beat them, though, shouldn't they? 5.5 point favorites are Indy. We're going to go the Pacers. Yep. The Pelicans are just too banged up. At the same time, they do have a bit of handy wing defense in their young dudes. Actually, screw it. Let's go the Pelicans plus 5.5. Indy coming off a game against the Wizards where they win by 12. Benny Mathurin. Tyrese Halliburton was good. It's Halliburton at home. Screw it. Let's go the Pacers minus 5.5. That's a stupid game to pick. Atlanta hosts Dallas. It's the Luka Trey Bowl with only Trey playing. Dallas, that was a disappointing loss to Miami today. They played overtime. I'm going to take Atlanta -1.5. Dyson Daniels going up against Kyrie. Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Atlanta have enough to get it done. Give me Atlanta -1.5. The Clippers go to Boston as well, which is a pretty interesting one. Boston took care of business in the end the other day. The Clippers are 10.5-point underdogs, which is pretty crazy. They've not been that great on the road, obviously, the Clippers. They're on a back-to-back. They just took care of Philly in Philly, which is amazing. They're 4-3 away, are the Clips, on a back-to-back, 10.5-point underdogs. You know that the Celtics are going to try to absolutely smash James Harden and co, but I still think the Clippers plus 10.5 is a bit... Like Boston, as I said, they only keep winning these games by very small amounts. And let's just check that. Yeah, 10.5. So we'll go wash. We'll go the Clippers plus 10.5. Portland, they go to Memphis. That is a 10.5-point line for Memphis. I'm taking Portland. They just played Houston. They beat Houston 2 days ago. Oh, yesterday. I think Portland can play Memphis tough as well. It's a weird matchup. They got a lot of length. The Grizzlies play hard. Portland sometimes do. Hopefully this is a sometimes Portland game. But they played 2 tough games against Houston. They beat Houston, who was a better team than Memphis. So let's go the Portland Trailblazers plus 10.5. Keep this one close for us, Blazers. The Knickerbockers go to Denver. This game should be pretty gnarly. You've got Cat versus Jokic. And the Nugs are 3.5-point favorites. I'm still going to go Denver. I was very dispirited by that Knicks game the other day. Denver, this is going to be a big game for Denver. Why is that, Jim? Well, Michael Porter Jr. had a really good game the other day. Jam and Jamal Murray sort of kept it going. They lose that janky Dallas game. They turn around and beat the Lakers. Now they play the Knicks. You think about that wing defense of the Knicks. Can Jokic dominate Cat? Can they cover Cat enough? I think I'm still going to go Denver -3.5. This Knicks team, that was a worrying blip against the Jazz. Just saying. Golden State host Brooklyn. I'd usually be like Brooklyn, 12.5-point underdogs. They just played against the Kings. They just beat the Kings. I feel like they'll be feeling okay, and then Golden State's defense will just give them the clamps. You want me to use these clamps? And as I've said, I've gone the 2 big underdogs already with the Clippers and Portland. I just don't know if I can do Brooklyn plus 12.5. I just don't know if they've got the scoring to keep up with the Warriors. So let's go Golden State at home. And then finally, OKC at Sacramento. The Kangs coming off a dispiriting loss to Brooklyn. OKC, they've now got Isaiah Hartenstein, back as well. So they've got a little bit of size to go at Sabonis with. I think OKC get this one done pretty easily. They're 4.5-point favorites on the road in Sacramento. We're taking OKC. It's a fun, weird slate tomorrow. Knicks Denver is going to be unreal. Dallas Atlanta will be kind of fun. That Indy New Orleans game is just, that does my head in. But you know there's something weird's going to happen in Toronto, Detroit, and Orlando, Charlotte as well. So anyway, you better tune in for tomorrow's show to hear all the stuff that happens in it. Because on Tuesdays, remember, we do a slightly shorter show to make sure we can sort of fit it all in. Sometimes. Either way, it'll be a fun one. Trust me, those games are wicked. So make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and of course YouTube. Get around it across all the socials, as well as NFL Straya with myself and Gaz talking about all things NFL each week. That'll be out tomorrow night. Check us a rating review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using on your Android phone. It does really help out. Get around all the other shows we've got right now. Obviously, the cricketing disaster going on out there in Perth. The Cricket Today podcast is all over it. The boys are smashing that. So if you love your cricket, the Cricket Today podcast is your place to go. The Football Today podcast for all your soccer gear and that sort of stuff. And then hold all tickets for your GGs. But the big one, AFLW grand final this week for the women's. It's going to be awesome. So get around the AFL Today show. Should be very, very, very good. Smash them all on your podcast. Like, subscribe, star, comments. Just get around them, would you? And jump on the YouTube for NBA Straya so you can see me talking about Shaq-alicious XL gummies. Might even eat some on air. Ugh. Might just ruin myself. Ever hear a man just choke to death on a Shaq-alicious XL gummy? Yes, once. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS section, Green, and Dozers for all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J on Earth, Face, Apple Music, Spotify. Remember, NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. And that's it. We'll finish off today's show with nothing because I'm cooked and I've got to get this one up. So let's do it. Right, we'll catch you tomorrow, dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And little Hosanna!
I think that's ridiculous. It's hard to get into why because I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to be respectful.